Hey, happy Tuesday. Oh, I put a capital H there by accident. Whoops. Goonhammer IJz Overview. But first, I'd like, of course, to take my time to thank my patrons. I'm trying to get 100 patrons. I would love to be able to actually go to more GTs. So if you'd like to help send me to some extra GTs, you know how to do that. Baron of Dice, thanks for supporting the channel. And Wyberian makes good art. Check him out. Goonhammer Faction Pack Overview IJz Age of Sigmar 4th Edition. Go check out Goonhammer. They got lots and lots and lots of good stuff. Okay, so we all are familiar with the army rules. So we're just going to kind of glaze over that, skip over that. So battle formations. Like any other faction, there are 4 to choose from. IJz Brawl. Whenever one of your non-heroes makes an unmodified charge roll of 8+, they get +1 to all their attacks. That's cool, but being unmodified makes it difficult to rely on. Nice when it happens, but don't bank on it. If you're not getting a benefit from other things, you should take this. That's kind of how I feel about this. Of the 4 battle formations, I really only feel like there's a couple that are worth taking. Let's keep reading. The IJz Brawl, this is the one that was previewed in the faction focus stuff, so we kind of know what's going on here. Grunta Stampede, it's +1 to their move for each enemy unit that has been destroyed in the game. So it's Gore Gruntas and Maw Gruntas. So I think most of them have a move of 10, but I don't think that the Gore Gruntas have a move of 10. So every time that you kill an enemy unit, you get +1 to move. But I don't think this is good. I think this is a trap. I think the problem with this one is that you'll want the move early, and a lot of your enemy units aren't gonna die. I think by the end of the game, you might have +3 to move, but it's not to charge. It's I don't know. I feel like this one is not gonna be super good, and you're gonna get stuck in combat. So, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this one. I could be wrong, but this one doesn't really impress me. Iron Fist. During every combat phase, the first time one of your units kills an enemy unit, the very next Ironjaw unit to fight gets +1 to their attacks. But your opponent's gonna get to attack you first. Right? You get +1 to your attacks. This is like a really bad version of Smashin' and Bashin'. Like if you have a unit that fights and then kills the opponent, which is not gonna happen super often. The next unit that fights gets +1 attacks. It's not, I don't think this one is going to pay off a lot. I think a lot of the time you're going to get nothing, and every so often you're going to get a free all-out attack on a unit that's under strength because it just got punched. So this one doesn't really interest me. This last one, however, I do think is good. All Ironjaw's infantry get a 6-up ward while wholly within 12 inches of an Ironjaw's wizard or priest. So you can think of this like brutes and ardboys are going to get a 6-up ward. So I did some math, and if you have a reinforced unit of brutes, if you have 1 rend, right? If you have 1 rend, which most things do have 1 rend, you're going to have to deal 60 points of damage to brutes before a block of 20 of them, before a block of 10 of them die. Right? Because with 1 rend, the brutes are on a 4-up save, which means you have to force them to make saves equal to double the amount of damage that you need to kill them. So 10 of them have 30 wounds. So with 1 rend, you're going to have to, before you roll for saves, you're going to have to deal about 60 wounds worth of damage to a unit of brutes before they die. If you have a 6-up ward, that goes to 72. So it's not nothing. Right? Reinforced bricks of high save, high health units are going to like this the most. So the only problem with this one is that if you lose that wizard or priest, you lose this buff. And if you're trying to be fast, the wizard or the priest might have a hard time staying wholly within 12. So I think that between Weird Fist and IJz Brawl, I think this is kind of the one that you'll need. The thing I like about the IJz Brawl is that it's just everywhere on the table, game-wide. A non-hero, so it's not going to be a Maw Crusher or a Tusk boss. But if it's Gore Gruntas, or if it's Maw Grunta Gougers, or, if it's Ardboys, or if it's Brutes, it's like an 8-up on a charge roll is not super unlikely. It's 45% of the time you're going to get +1 attacks, and +1 attacks is a lot of damage, And there's no way for your opponent to turn it off. There's no way for them to interact with it. It's just for the rest of the game. And again, it's like, you know, if it doesn't go off, that's okay. But if it does go off, you know, like if you throw a good buff on a unit and they're getting +1 attacks from this, and they're getting +1 attacks from, you know, the Wa, it's like, wow, like all of a sudden we're throwing tons and tons and tons of dice. So, you know, Weird Fist is, I think, a more defensive option if you're going to be more of a castle, and I think the Ironjawz Brawl is a better offensive option if you want to be running across the table and smashing things. Here are the heroic traits. So remember, these can go on any non-unique hero. Okay? Hulking Brute. When the hero charges, it inflicts mortal damage equal to the roll on a 2-up on a D3, so it's 2-up D3. Or if its charge was an 8-up, it deals D6 mortal wounds instead. But, I don't know. How many times is the hero going to charge in the game? Once or twice? Right? So it's like you're going to be dealing a handful of mortal wounds. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's fine, I guess. I don't know. We'll have to see some math. There might be some instances where it's like, well, if you take the Son of Makrusha, that extra few mortal wounds is enough to put it over like a damage threshold, like over 20 expected damage. And so, like, one-shotting a unit versus not one-shotting a unit is a huge difference. So we'll have to wait and see some math, but I doubt this one's good. An eye for Defight. Whenever you redeploy with a unit within 12 inches, it will always count as having rolled a minimum of 4. This one is good, I think. Redeploying 4, it means that you can count on it. The only problem with this is that you have to redeploy a unit that's within 12, and that means that they need babysitting. So like you need to really have a plan for this one. So for example, if you're like, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a reinforced unit of brutes, I'm going to march up the middle of the table, I'm going to use mighty destroyers on it pretty much every time, and I'm going to redeploy it forward so I can get it into the middle of the table and force my opponent off the objective as fast as possible. It's like, cool. So you have a plan for that. So now suddenly this is going to work for you. But if you don't have like a real reason why you're going to be using this redeploy every turn, then I don't think that this one's particularly good. Or then I don't think it's maybe not the best one to take. Mega Bossy. After this hero makes a successful charge, it gives off an 18-inch aura for your other units to get +1 to charge. So if it's the Wa turn, it's your hero here gets +1 to charge, and then an 18-inch bubble is a large bubble to be giving an additional +1 to charge. It means that like when you need it to happen, you'll get your charge rolls. Another really interesting thing here is that if you teleport a unit with Hand of Gork, right, and then your hero charges in, and then the unit that you teleported is wholly within 18 of them, then they're going to get +2 to charge. That 9-inch charge just turned into a 7-inch charge. And that's phenomenal. And there's other ways too in this army that you can give additional +1 to charge. The War Chanter has a beat or whatever where it's the get 'em beat where it's an additional +1 to charge, but also if you get it over that threshold that it needs or whatever, it'll get 3d6 charge. So Mega Bossy to me looks like a combo piece. You know, you're going to set things up, you're going to teleport things, you're going to move things around, and then boom, your general goes in, calls the Wa, and then everything else is going in too. You can really pile into the same things, right? So, and 18 inches is a big aura, so that's feeling pretty good, because from what I remember, the, let's see. From what I remember, the rule is for calling the Wa. I thought it was a shorter range. Nope, it's within 18. But the Hand of Gork is going to be interesting. I feel like Ironjawz are going to actually have some pretty silly movement tricks still, because Mighty Destroyers is going to be really interesting, and then yeah, like all these bonuses to charge, like 3d6 plus 3 to charge. Like, you're going to be able to get units where you want to, if that's kind of what you're looking for. So Mega Bossy to me looks really interesting. Got to play with it a little bit more. Got to see how reliable our teleports are. Got to see what else we got going on. But like Ragers with their run-in charge, if you can give them +2, +3 to charge and a 3d6 to charge, like, it's going to be kind of scary. So the redeploy one is good. I think Mega Bossy is good. The other one, Mortal Wounds, like, it just doesn't seem to be as powerful. Let's look at some artifacts of power. Trophy Skulls, a very simple +10 to the hero's control score. That's a bump on a Mach Crush up to a 15. Yep, that one might be cool. It depends on if you're good, what kind of heroes you're going to be using to take your opponent's objectives, and this one could very well be good. Control seems to matter, that's what people are saying, so +10 to control score is nothing to scoff at. Armor of Gork, 6 up ward. Yep, you put it on a Mach Crusher, right? Give him a 6 up ward. So you can like have Armor of Gork, and then you can also have this Weird Fist, so you can give like a 6 up ward to a lot of your army, right? All Ironjaw's infantry get a 6 up ward while they're wholly within 12 inches of an Ironjaw's wizard or priest. I wonder if like 2 wizards can give it to each other. Right, they stand beside each other, they both have a 6 up ward. Not that it matters so much, it's more for the infantry, but right, we can have 3 up saves and 6 up wards, guys. Like, looking good. Amberbone Whetstone, one of the hero's weapons gets an extra point of rend for the game. We'll pass on that. 6 up ward seems okay, and the Trophy Skull seems okay too. We'll have to see like how we're playing Ironjaws, how we're feeling about Ironjaws, but definitely one of these I think is going to be the way to go. Lord of the Weird. We've seen Bcalm lads on a 6 up. It's an unlimited spell. You give a friendly unit crit 2 hits for the turn, and it's unlimited. So I don't think that the unlimited spell is going to be a big thing for us. I don't think we're going to be running a ton of wizards. From what I remember and from what I understand, we only have the Weird Knob Shaman, and he's a power level 1 wizard. So if you want to be casting 3 spells, you have to bring 3 wizards. So Bcalm lads is like, okay, like it's fine. It's good, right? Like crit 2 hits is good. We throw so much dice. We throw so many dice in this army that crit 2 hits is a pretty good buff. Doesn't affect companions though, right? But for brutes, like it's gonna be scary. Mighty Edbud, another 6 up cast, deals D3 mortal wounds to an enemy unit within 18 inches, or a flat 3 if it's a wizard. This one seems good. You know, it's like a toolbox thing. It's like you want to deal 3 mortal wounds to a wizard, you can. You want to bring your wizards up into the fight and have them shoot off like this, you can. And then the Great Big Green Head of Gork, so it's a teleport spell. Pick a friendly unit wholly within 9 inches. It used to be 12, now it's 9, but that's okay because we're gonna play around that, right? It's like you're just gonna put your wizard right next to the things you want to teleport, and then it has to end wholly within 24 inches of the caster and more than 9 inches away, so you can't do shenanigans like put it way off onto the side. This also gives you a little bit more incentive to actually move up your casters up the board, because teleports are really strong. It casts on a 7. I don't think we're going to have any buffs, but between the Great Big Green Head of Gork and Bcalm lads, like, I think we might be bringing 2 wizards. Like, what do you think? I think that Bcalm lads is a spell that you want to cast every single turn, right? Crit 2 hits. Like, we're going to have reinforced blocks of guys. So if you want to cast Bcalm lads every single turn, right, you can also have your Weird Fist. So it's like, okay, this unit of brutes has a 6 up ward, and then it's got a caster that's going to hang out with it and give it crit 2 hits. Seems good. Seems good to me. And then over here we have our war beats. These are our prayers. So we're gonna stick a war chanter beside this other brick of reinforced Ardboys or reinforced pigs or reinforced something, and they're gonna get this get 'em beat, which is add 1 to charge rolls, and if you get off on its big thing, then you get 3d6 charge instead, or maybe in addition. I'm not sure if it's in addition. Yeah, also. So 3d6 charge is scary. I was really hoping that Ironjaws would get some form of 3d6 charge, and here it is. You know, like you can get set up and then charge. So there's no reason that you can't like march up Ardboys or brutes with a war chanter and then teleport something beside it and then have them get 'em beat, you know, and then like adding 1 to your charge roll, and then it's a wah, and then you have Mega Bossy. So all of a sudden it's like, yep, that reinforced unit of Gore Gruntas that has Bcalm lads and now get 'em beat and then kill it. Like you can still do some silly things. I'm really interested to see if we can still play Ironjaws that way. Like, I'm wondering how much we can get out of our teleport spells. you know, how silly are they going to be? Is it going to be a core thing that we play around, you know, or is it going to be just like a thing that when the stars align, it works out really nicely? Or are we kind of like thinking about doing it every single turn? Fix and Beat, heal D6 or D3 plus 3 if you rolled the higher value. Probably never cast this, to be honest, because more damage is more good. And then Kill a Beat is just Violent Fury. It just adds +1 damage. This one is so strong. We're going to be casting this all the time. Adding 1 to damage is so good, right? So it's like, I'm looking at the spells, and it's like Bcalm Lad's really good. To Great Big Green-Headed Gork, really good. Get 'em Beat, really good. Kill a Beat, really good. Do we bring 2 War Chanters and 2 Weird Knobs every game? That's what this is looking like to me. It looks like the spells and the prayers that we have are strong enough that we want to bring 2 every game. Especially with Manifestation Lures, right? Like, we only have 1 cast, and we have all these endless spells. So, and endless spells are strong. Should we be bringing, like, a couple, you know? Like, that's what it's looking like to me. We have a very good prayer and spell lore for Ironjawz. So, like, are we a casting army now? Like, I don't know. It's weird. I need to see points. I want to make lists. Because if I'm bringing 2 War Chanters and 2 Weird Knobs, like, are they all going to be different in their, like, battalions? Like, am I looking at a 5 drop now? Or if I take Gordrak, maybe I can take Gordrak and then, like, you know, a reinforced unit of brutes and then 3 more heroes and try to be a 2 drop? Like, I don't know. I really, really, really want to make lists. But war beats are good. Spells are good. Oh my, Rager still can run and charge. And from what I remember, they get +1 damage on the... No, they get strike first. Oh, it's gross. It's gross. 6 Ragers with Bcalm Lads, Kill a Beat, Get 'em Beat, like, run and charge... We're going to just eat things. We're going to eat things. And it's going to be great. I can't wait. Like, subscribe. Wah.